What is up, people, and welcome back to my Rags to Riches F1 2010 to 2014 career mode. This is the career mode where we go from one of the worst teams in F1 2010, work our way through the ranks and through the teams, and try and get a drive for one of the best teams in F1 2014. Now, if you are new to this series and have missed any of the episodes, go check them out with the card annotation in the top right hand corner of your screens. And you can also check out all of the rules for this series in the description down below as well. We're currently in the F1 2011 season in round 9, the British Grand Prix, my home race for the second time in this career mode. And last time around at the European Grand Prix, we got our second race win of the season and our 5th race win of this career, and that means we are now 6th in the standings, which is a Williams seat for next season. We're right behind Sebastian Vettel. We're not too far off Mark Webber, Fernando Alonso, Jenson Button, or Felipe Massa either, but we need to try and get Fernando Alonso if we want to try and get that Force India seat for next season. We need between 1st and 3rd to try and get a Force India seat for F1 2012, but nothing else to really talk about. Actually, yes, there is. We've got an email going into today's race. So the team want me to get 6th in the qualifying session, may be difficult, and they want me to get 3rd in the actual race. They want me to get onto the podium. It's going to be light rain in practice, but light cloud in both the qualifying and the race session. So hopefully nice and dry across the whole weekend, which is nice to see at my home race as well. And it is my home race. I'm going to go for a special helmet. I'm looking for maybe a British one. Unfortunately, there isn't. So the closest I'm going to have is maybe that red one. Yeah, let's go for that red one. Let's go for the red one. Home race. I would have preferred to have a British Grand Prix helmet, but let's go for the helmet number 16, just for this race only. And without any further ado, let's get into the British Grand Prix. Here we go then. One shot qualifying at the British Grand Prix. Round the final corner, and let's get this lap underway. Oh, that's a big mistake into turn 1. Not as quick as it is on F1 2016. Little bit of a mistake through there, but hopefully we can pick it up as the lap goes on. Wow, lost out so much time through Sector 2. We are 2.6 seconds off the pace of the leader at the moment. That unfortunately means that we're probably going to be way down the field in our usual 18th position. But we still got one sector left to go. There is still a lot of time available to be caught up. So here we go, in towards Club and Vale. What can we do through these final couple of corners? DRS open, down towards the line. What can we do? And it's going to be 18th place. Our usual spot of 18th place. I think we've qualified 18th place for a good, I don't know, maybe 5 of the 9 races so far this season. Who knows? But it's definitely been far too many times in 18th place. We absolutely destroy the back markers, but unfortunately it's just a struggle to keep up with the rest of the field. Felipe Massa, what on earth happened to him? He's way down the field in 14th place. The championship leader qualifying in 14th, with Sebastian Vettel 1st, Fernando Alonso in 2nd, and Mark Webber in 3rd. What can we do though in today's race? Can we make it 9-point scoring finishes out of 9 races? Let's find out as we head over to the race for the British Grand Prix. It's race day. It is my home race at the British Grand Prix here in Silverstone. The team want me to get 3rd or above in today's race, despite starting way down the field in 18th position. It has not been a good race, a good qualifying weekend for me here today. Looking at the teammate challenge, unfortunately, I was closing up on Rubens Barrichello in terms of out-qualified, but he's got me back now at 6-3, and I'll be looking to try and maybe get him back in the coming races. But we're absolutely smashing him at the moment in the teammate challenge. Tyre selection, we're going to start the primes as we usually do. Pit for the options later on in the race on lap 6 of this 10-lap race, and hopefully that'll be the strategy to try and get us our 9th point scoring finish of this season. So nothing else to talk about, so let's head down to the track and get today's race underway. So it is Sebastian Vettel who is our pole man for today's race, with Fernando Alonso right alongside him in P2. Rubens Barrichello qualified in P15, not too bad there for my teammate, and there's myself lining up in 18th on the grid. So not the best of qualifying sessions at my home Grand Prix, but I'll be looking to maybe try and pull it back as the race goes on. So it's 5 red lights. It is lights out, and away we go for the British Grand Prix. What can we do here today down in towards turn 1? We're going to take this cautiously just in case the AI actually break into this corner, which they do, and I've actually gone straight into the side of Adrian Sittel there, but now getting a few positions. Maybe got the inside of Massa. Unfortunately can't do that as he's blocked it off. Or Paul di Resta's gone straight into the back of Felipe Massa. I've actually made contact with... And I've got a penalty. Wow, I've got a penalty for a collision with Felipe Massa. I've got a drive-through penalty for a collision with Massa. And I've gone straight into the back of him again. Why is that a drive-through penalty? I literally just tapped his rear left. That is so darn frustrating. So we've got it all to do here today if we want to try and score points. We are going to serve this drive-through penalty. We've used far too many flashbacks and I've spun someone else out. What the hell happened there? I don't even know what happened there. I don't even know what happened. I just saw a Force India spinning behind me. Okay, so we've got Paul di Resta, I think it is. Or it might be Adrian Sutil and... I don't know. Was that my fault? I'm turning for the corner. I'm not really too focused. I'm more focused on the apex on the next one. I am turning left, but to try and, you know, get the best line into the next corner. And not really... I suppose I should have been more aware of where Adrian Sutil is, unfortunately. But, yeah. We're just going to carry on with this race. Unfortunately for Adrian Sutil, it is not the best of starts for him. And that's mainly down to me. And unfortunately, I've only made up 2 positions in this race. And that's not exactly the best of starts to this race so far, as I'm struggling to get the car turned in. And that's going to allow Narain Kartikeyan to be right on my tail. Yes, yes, yes. I know that I've got a penalty to take, and I'm going to take it on this lap. You don't have to remind me. I know. I was a bad boy who literally just touched Felipe Massa's tyre. Right, into the pit lane then to serve our drive-through penalty. And probably one of the worst pits to get a drive-through penalty. It is so goddamn slow. It is so slow to drive through this pit lane. And we've got to do it. Because we tapped the rear right of Felipe Massa. That penalty, in my opinion, is absolute bullshit. But, you know, we made contact at the end of the day. And we've got to face the punishment coming into the pits on the first lap of the race. And I'm literally just trying to come up with words to make this grueling run down the pit lane not as boring as it actually is. And there we go. Finally out of the pit lane. Let's go and catch up to Timo Glock and let's see what we can do in today's race. We need a miracle of some kind if we want to get some points here today. It is going to be so darn difficult to score points in today's race. But we're going to try our best. Let's see what we can do. We've got another driver in the pit lane very, very early on in today's race. That's going to put me up into P22 in today's race. It's Jerome D'Ambrosio who has come into the pits. That moves me up into P22. And let's try and get Timo Glock still. Still a big gap at the moment to the Virgin Racing driver. But I do reckon I have the abilities to try and catch him up. A lot of drivers into the pits at the moment. And this is probably going to be the highest I will run in this whole entire race because of that stupid drive-through penalty. But we've moved up at the moment into P11 side by side with a driver, but just about managing to edge ourselves ahead of him. And there we go, P11, but still not actually in the points. And Sebastian Vettel has come out clear of us. This reminds me of some of the races that we had in F1 2011. Our luck has been so good so far this season, but it looks like our luck's going to change here today as Lewis Hamilton tries to get past me. I'm going to defend as much as I possibly can in towards Brooklands and Luffield, just because I am battling with him the championship. I want to hold him up. I want to hold him up because if there's anybody that's gone a lap longer than him, could actually get the chance of staying in front of him in the race, which is what I really want to happen in today's race. That's a terrible line through that corner. Absolutely awful. So there's another driver coming to pits. It is Leutzi. Leutzi comes into the pits. That's how you say his name. Not Leutzi. Leutzi. There we go. Leutzi is into the pits. As I've run it very, very wide on the final corner. I keep doing that. I've got to stop running it so wide. And we're into the points. And now we should be even further into the points. There's more drivers coming out of the pits. And there we go, getting past these guys. And we are right behind Jensen Button, even though we're coming into pits on this lap. But it's nice to be running in the top 5 for once. Despite being in like 22nd position for pretty much most of this race. But what can we do? Can we have a battle on this lap before we come into the pits? There's 2 drivers going side by side at the moment. I think that's probably a back marker that's actually doing the same strategy as me. Yes, it is. I can see them just up ahead. It is a Lotus, which I can only guess is Jarno Trulli, because I think Heikki Kovalainen has already come into the pit lane. And I am right behind Jensen Button. Can I go for the overtake on my fellow Brit as they're going to go side by side down towards Cops Corner? I'm going to take this nice and easy right behind JB in towards Maggots and Beckett's. Can we go for the overtake? Let's find out as we're going in his... Oh, I got so close to the back of Jensen Button there. That was bad. That was nearly very, very bad. But here we go. on the attacker JB. Can we go for the overtake? I'm going to try it. I'm definitely going to try it. And on Truly as well. Down in towards Stowe. Up the inside of Truly. That's an overtake we need to make because we are battling with him actually in this race. And there we go. Job done on Jensen. Yes, there we go. Job done on Jensen and Button. We're coming into pit lane now for a new set of option tyres. Okay, so a little bit of an anticlimactic end to that nice little battle there. And that's going to put me way down the field. Look where all the other back markers are. Oh my god. That's where I'm going to be, isn't it? I'm going to be that far behind the rest of them. I can't let Rubens Barrichello beat me in a race for once as well. I cannot let Rubens Barrichello beat me. Oh, I've got so much time to catch up in these final 3 laps. I need to do something. And once again, I'm just stalling to try and get out the pit lane. It's so goddamn slow. Speed up! Speed up, please. It's so slow. 37 miles an hour. We don't need it. At least I'm coming out ahead of all the back markers. There is a little bit of a positive to think about. No, there's not, because it's only 16th bloody place. And I'm beating Adrian Sutter as well, who I took out earlier on in the race. And I feel really, really bad about that. Look at that. Fastest laps of the race. The fastest lap of the race. And I'm running all the way down in P16. Oh, this is so boring. Here we go then. Final lap at this British Grand Prix. And setting the fastest lap once again. We're absolutely destroying the fastest lap right now. And we are 10 seconds away from our teammate. It looks like 16th is unfortunately the best that we can hope for here today, which is really, really frustrating. I would have loved to have possibly got into the points once again. But, you know, point streaks, they're bound to come to an end at some point. I just wish it didn't come to an end at my home Grand Prix. I was hoping to maybe get a good result here today. I'm not too sure how well I did in the original Rags to Riches series on F1 2011 at the British Grand Prix. Hopefully not as bad as this, because this has just been appalling. An absolutely appalling race. Sebastian Vettel wins today's race then here at the British Grand Prix. It's not really going to mean too much to me, as he's going to unfortunately get further away from us in the championship. That's 25 points he has now gained. Despite it being 3 points the gap, it's now 28. 28 points is the gap between myself and Sebastian Vettel. So I come through the final corner now and across the line to finish in such a disappointing 16th position. I mean, yes, okay, we got the drive-through penalty, which I do not feel I was right to get a drive-through penalty for that. I mean, maybe a 5-second time penalty if you really want to give me a penalty for that, but a drive-through penalty costs you 27 seconds. It will cost you. Okay, maybe not exactly that much because you are still moving, but you are about 27 seconds in that pit lane. So I could have been fighting in the points here today. Not too sure where exactly I would have been in today's race, but I would have definitely been in the points. It's just so frustrating. So goddamn frustrating. But Sebastian Vettel wins today's race and leads a Red Bull 1-2 here today, with Mark Webber finishing in 2nd. It's Jenson Button 3rd, Nico Rosberg in 4th, with Lewis Hamilton 5th. Then it's Fernando Alonso in 6th, Nick Heidfeld in 7th, Michael Schumacher 8th, Sergio Perez 9th, Kamui Kobayashi 10th, and Felipe Massa, the championship leader. No longer the championship leader, but the championship leader going into today's race, finishing outside the points. Disappointing for him. Then it's the 2 Williams drivers, Rubens Barrichello in 15th, just ahead of me, outracing me for the first time this season, and myself unfortunately finishing in a very disappointing 16th place, with Adrian Sittel in 17th and Paul di Resta in 19th. I think maybe I had a collision with Paul di Resta at some point in that race as well. Maybe that's what the penalty was for. I'm not entirely sure. I thought it was for a crash that I had with Felipe Massa. Maybe I had a crash with Paul di Resta as well. We'll just have to wait and see as I look back on the video. Looking at the Drivers' Championship now, still in 6th place, but the gap to Lewis Hamilton is now only 22 points. Like I said, he is in a faster car. He is going to be scoring points finishes, hopefully for him, on the regular. So he should definitely be able to catch up to me in the championship. We're still only 20 points behind Fernando Alonso as well. But Mark Webber is quite a bit ahead of us. So is Sebastian Vettel. And so is Jenson Button, who currently leads the Drivers' Championship, which is what I want to see. I'd love Jenson Button to win the championship in this season. But looking at the Constructors' standings, and unfortunately we've lost a little bit of ground to Mercedes in the championship. We're on 92 points still. They are on 71. So we're 21 points behind us in the championship. But that's it for today's British Grand Prix. Let's head back to the menus. Right, so we've got some interviews to do here today after a very disappointing British Grand Prix. Did today show what the car is capable of? I think yes and no. Yes, to be honest, yes. The car was very, very quick today. I was very quick. Unfortunately, it was just that drive-through penalty that put us so far down the field. We still set the fastest lap of the race, so that just goes to show how quick this car is. But yes, I do think that we both have a lot more to give if we want to try and challenge with the top 6 drivers. Are you happy with how the race have gone so far? Up until today, yes, things are going exactly to plan. But, yeah, today's race wasn't exactly the best. But, you know, if we can have 8 points finishes out of 9, I will take that. That is on our way to a top 6 finish this season. I will take that. I would definitely take that. So, I still think things are going really well. Have you been happy with your qualifying results? No. No. Yeah, we've been working hard in both sessions and we have been giving it our all, but we've just not got the right result. We have just not got the right result. 18th place has been... We've been in 18th too many times this season, and that needs to change. That definitely needs to change. So, yeah, we've been a bit lazy in qualifying so far. We need to pick it up. Disappointing home race here then at the British Grand Prix. I think something definitely needs to change, and maybe it's a bit of superstition, but let's go back to that helmet. Let's go back to helmet 13. Unlucky for some, but it seems to be a bit lucky for us in recent races. So I'm definitely happy to stick with helmet number 13. But let's stop talking about helmets. Let's get on with going through the standings after today's race. Still in 6th place. Still Williams' seat for next season, which is good. Williams is better than Toro Rosso. Maybe not as good as Force India, but still Williams is a very good seat to drive for in F1 2012. 6th place though, 22 points ahead of Lewis Hamilton. There is still a bit of a gap there. Also a bit of a gap to Fernando Alonso ahead of us, and a big gap to Mark Webber, who currently holds onto that Force India seat. So we've got a lot of work to do if we want to try and catch up. And we're going to try and do that at the next race, which is, of course, the German Grand Prix at the Nürburgring. It's been a while since I've driven around that circuit, so hopefully we can jump straight into it and have a very, very decent result at that race. But that's it for today's episode. If you have enjoyed it, don't forget to smash a like on today's video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so for daily Formula One content, and don't forget to share this video with your friends. But I'll see you next time at the German Grand Prix. But until then, it's goodbye from me.